Hello and welcome to another week of spoilers at Hobbies and Happiness. My name's Dan.
And I'm Jim. Yes, it's the third week for him.
All right, it's week number 3 for Alpha Clash, Clashgrounds spoiler season. And we're here for it. We're going to go through last week's spoilers. We're recording this a little bit late, but that's okay.
Yes.
But that's all right. We're gonna get right into it. But before we get into it, if you like Alpha Clash, if you like content like this, don't forget, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those bell notifications so you can be notified when we release more content like this in the future. All right, we've got some sweet spoilers to talk about today. Jim just found his new favorite card. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. So let's just, I think we got all the pleasantries out of the way, so let's jump right in. The first card we're going to talk about, we've got first 2 cards were previewed by Kodak. You can find him on Twitter and YouTube at Kodak. The first one we're going to talk about is Shifting Priorities. Shifting Priorities is a 2-cost common basic action. It costs 2 and 1 required blue resource. It says remove 2 counters from a target clash card you control or a target relic you control. If you do, clash cards you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. So all clash cards you control. Jim, what do you think about this card?
I mean, this allows you, if you're going wide, you can get so much damage increase here. Since it's each one of your clash cards, right? Yeah. Each one of your clash cards will get the +1/+1. For 2 costs, sure, you remove the 2 counters, but sometimes that's all you need to just win the game.
Yeah, and if you're in blue, I mean, if you're in blue, this is going to fit well into a mean streak build or a Haven build, right? With the collection counters for Haven or the streak counters for mean streak. So a pretty narrow card, but still it's going to fit right into that archetype. Okay. And then the next one that we have is Siberia. Siberia is a 3-cost, 1 required red resource for a Russia Earth Clashground. This is a starter card, so it comes in the Clash kit. And it says Clash cards lose super speed and cannot get super speed. Attached costs of red weapons are reduced by 1 red, and the attached costs of black weapons are reduced by 1 black. So it reduces the attached costs of both red and black weapons. Jim, what do you think about Siberia?
Flavor-wise, this makes a whole lot of sense. It's freezing cold. You're not going to be moving fast at all. And to reduce the cost of weapons, it's the attached cost of weapons, which is even better than just the cost of them.
Right.
And I really like this card.
I'm a big fan of the artwork. Again, Kyle Petchak has nailed it with this piece. Siberia, a fantastic tech card, right? For those weapon builds. And again, I just want to thank Rising Empire Studios for these 2 cards. If you know, you know. All right. The next one we're going to talk about is Kilimanjaro Harnessing Power. This one was spoiled to us by Leandro Raimundo, I believe. That's at lido.arts on Instagram. So it's Kilimanjaro Harnessing Power, a 3-cost, 2 required black resources for a rare 3/3 Kilimanjaro Alpha Clash card. All right, and it reads, so it's 3 costs for a 3/3, a 3/3 for 3, which reads whenever you discard a card, this card gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Jim, what do you think about Kilimanjaro?
All right, this card's not bad.
Yes.
Okay, it's just I have not a great place in my heart for Kilimanjaro.
Yeah, from set 1, yes. Yes. But I mean, this clearly was designed to go with that card, right?
And I do like that it says whenever you discard a card and not card/cards.
Right.
Because then it's just looking at the total of number of cards that you got rid of rather than you just pitched.
We assume.
Yeah.
We assume, which that's how it reads, and in practice, I assume that's how it would work.
Yeah.
But that's something you'd obviously want to double check.
We need rulings.
We do need rulings. So a 3/3 for 3 with upside is never bad. All right, so that's Kilimanjaro Harnessing Power. The next one is Convergence. This was spoiled by Chris Jones. You can follow him on Instagram at Chris Jones Super Artist. So it's Convergence. It is a 2-cost, 2 required white resources for a rare weapon accessory. So it's an exclusive weapon and it has an attached cost of 1 white resource. And then it reads, attached clash card gets +1/+0 and breakthrough. And then it says, at the end of your turn, if the portal is open, you can ready attached clash card. And then it also says, during your opponent's turn, while this card is in your accessory zone, conquest clash cards you control get +1/+0. Jim, what do you think about this card?
Dude, this card seems really powerful.
It does.
So you're pretty much going to make it to where the portal is open at the end of your turn, right?
Yeah.
Usually, you're going to want to.
Right.
Especially if you have this card out, because then you're going to be able to ready him and then be able to block on your opponent's turn. And then he also gets bigger on your opponent's turn if it's attached to a conquest.
No. So okay, yeah. So this card is. So this card is the bane of people like Jim's existence because it requires you to read the card thoroughly.
I can't read it.
Jim doesn't read cards, okay? So
I'm just so used to them staying there and not moving to the battlefield, even though they do.
Yeah, so Jim likes to just read ahead, except he's not reading, right?
Yeah.
So
I
okay,
understand some of these words.
What I like about this card is it's versatile and gives you options. Okay, so this doesn't have to fit in conquest only builds. Okay, if you are running a conquest only build, right, this card you want it more to be in your accessory zone. Okay, so you're going to utilize that last ability, which says during your opponent's turn, while this card is in your accessory zone, meaning it's not attached, it is unequipped from any of your clash cards. All of your conquest clash cards get +1/+0. Okay, while it is attached to one of your cards, whether it's conquest or regardless, it loses that ability, right? Because again, number one, that's on your opponent's turn. Number two, it has to be in your accessory zone. Okay, but what I really like about this is like that's the side dish, right? The main course is when it's attached, it gets the thing that it's attached to +1/+1 breakthrough. Like that's great, but the big thing is gonna ready at the end of your turn.
That's huge.
That's going to be very, very big, and it's only 2. So it's only cost 2 and an attach of 1. So very versatile, where you can move this thing around, and then also if you are running conquest, you can then detach it from your stuff to buff your conquest card in your opponent's turn. So it's a very interesting card. I like the design. It's very interesting. Like this is one of those cards where like I've never really seen this type of effect in a weapon artifact type card before. Yeah. Right. Very, very interesting.
Very unique.
And requires you to read the
Some would say very exclusive card.
Very true. All right, so the next card that we have, so this one we have got 2 different arts. So this is a rare card, but also we have an iconic rare version of this. It's Pestilence Devious Servant. The iconic rare of this is magnifique. It is absolutely beautiful. So this was spoiled. So Dalen Mack, you can follow him on Twitter at Dalen Mack, spoiled the iconic rare version of this card. And then the normal version was spoiled by artist Alex Tripp. You can find him on Instagram at Tripp_design_studio. All right, so Pestilence Devious Servant. This is a beauty, all right? He's a 4-cost, 2 required green resources for a rare 0/4 Pestilence Plagueholm Harbinger Clash card. So he's got a few different abilities. So it's exclusive, so you can only have 1 on the field at a time. Reads this card gets +1/+0 for each card in your hand. So a 0/4 that gets larger, right? And then it says trigger attack. If you have 3 or fewer cards in your hand, draw 1 card. And then it says at the end of your turn, if you have 7 or more cards in your hand, you can ready another target clash card you control. Jim, what do you think about Pestilence here?
This has to be one of my favorite characters in the entire game.
I love Pestilence. It's so
Pestilence as a character is phenomenal. I love these artworks of him. And this effect of on attack, if you have fewer than 3 cards or fewer than 4 cards in hand, go ahead and draw 1. And then you can also ready a card at the end of your turn if you have 7 or more. And he's going to get big too. So if you... ready another. So he can't target himself, unfortunately. But
I think this is better. 7? I think this is better because it readies someone to block for him.
Yeah.
Right? So You're most likely not gonna trigger both, like the trigger attack and then that end of turn, unless you're drawing a lot of cards on your turn. Like it's not out of the realm of possibility. Right. But
is there a way to draw like +3 cards from one card?
Maybe. There's like this. Oh man, this card is just so good, guys. I love everything about this card. The iconic rare artwork is so good, but even the regular artwork is great too.
I really don't know which one I like more.
Yeah.
Because they're both phenomenal.
They are. They're. I need both of them right now.
The iconic artwork shows the destruction that he is of draining the life force from the world.
Yeah.
And the other one's like, I'm draining the life force out of one soldier.
Yeah,
who tried to mess with me.
Yeah. This artwork of Pestilence. Every time I see a new Pestilence card, I'm just like, this is so good. Goodness. It's phenomenal. Yeah. So that is Pestilence Devious Servant. All right. The next two that we have come to us courtesy of It's Me BG on YouTube. You can follow him on YouTube at It's Me BG. So the first one that we're going to talk about is Shrapnel. This comes in the Clash kit. So Shrapnel is a relic. So this is another accessory. It's a 2-cost, 1 required red resource. For a starter relic accessory, which reads trigger enter, deal 1 damage to target Clash card. And then it reads, when this card leaves play, deal 1 damage to target contender. Jim, what do you think about Shrapnel here?
It's a little weird to me because it's a delay 2 damage for the cost of 2. But that doesn't mean it's bad.
Right.
Because there's a lot of times where you just need that 1 extra damage on a card to be able to take it out. And this can really set you up either the turn you play it, but then also turns later down the road.
What I like about this card is again remembering the difference between clash damage and non-clash damage, right? Yeah. So non-clash damage will stick through the end of the turn, right? Yep. So when this enters, okay, you're gonna ping something for 1, but it's gonna maintain that non-clash damage until the end of the turn, right? So it could be where your opponent has 1 unexhausted card, right? Yep. And so, like, let's say maybe it was a 2/2, right? And you have a bunch of 1 power, 1 attack things, right? And so now it's got that 1 damage marked on it. So now it's gonna think twice about blocking, right? So the thing about when this card leaves play, so you just have to have outlets to get rid of accessories on your board. Right, so that's what's going to be very interesting to see, especially in the Clash kit, because this is going to come in the Clash kit.
The part I really like going over that scenario of maybe you got a 1/1 going up against a 2/2. You can swing in with your 1/1 and it'll be like, that's sure,
right.
Block it, and then you play this. So that's if you want to kill it,
right?
Or you play around and just be like, okay, I know I want to get in this extra little chip damage, so I'm going to deal 1 to your character. I'm going to swing in. You're most likely not going to block it, but now that could set you up for lethal in like maybe 2 turns or whatever it is.
And what I like about this card too is like on a card like the Haven Ramp card. I can't remember what the full name of the card is, but she has a trigger defeat. Where when trigger defeat, you can return a non-trap accessory from your graveyard or from your from your graveyard. I can't remember the technical term. There we go, Oblivion. From Oblivion to play. Yeah. So you could just find a Shrapnel and do that too. Like that's another interesting interaction too.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, I like this card because like this seems like a base. It seems like a baseline card that can go in a lot of different types of builds. Yeah. Right. So I'm finding myself saying this a lot. Is a lot of these cards, they're like new twists on design of traditional cards, right? In a lot of these different card games, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
I really like the relics in general.
Yeah, they're very, very cool. Speaking of relics, you got another one. This is a good one. This is Bardagan Warhorn. So Bardagan Warhorn is a 3-cost, 2 required red resources for an uncommon relic accessory. The artwork by Alex Tripp, again, phenomenal. And it reads exclusive, so you can only have one on board at a time. And then it reads trigger enter. Create 1/1/1 red Harbinger War minion clash token. So we see we've got tokens being introduced.
Yep.
And then it reads at the end of your turn, if the portal's open, you create 1/1/1 red Harbinger War minion clash token. Jim, what do you think about the Warhorn here?
Dude, I love this card, man. Yep. It's going to accrue you so much value over time. It's going to first give you the 1/1, and then at the end of your turn, the portal's going to be open. Let's be honest.
Yep.
Here. You're now going to have essentially 2/2 for 3, but then over the course of the game, it's just going to grow and grow and grow.
It's just gonna it's going to get you so much value over time. So that is Bardagan Warhorn. All right. Okay, so the next two that we have come to us courtesy of Magic Arcanum. You can follow them on Twitter at magic_arcanum. I always loved Magic Arcanum's videos. Their Magic videos, like going on the history. They've got some great content. Go check them out. The first one that we have is Punishment. Punishment is a 1 cost, 1 required green resources for a common quick action, which reads counterplay. You may only play this card when an opponent plays a clash buff on their turn. So pretty restrictive, but that's all right. And then it reads target non-attacking clash card gets -3/-3 until end of turn. All right, Jim, what do you think about Punishment here?
All right, I read this correctly. Non-attacking.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they attack. All right, you can't just block and then they play the clash buff and then you play this on top of it. I read it. All right, so you can kill something else that is attacking or not attacking. Yeah, it's a -3/-3.
Yeah, you're playing this in response to them playing a clash buff.
Yeah.
But it's got to be, again, on your opponent's turn. It has to be on your opponent's turn when they go to play a clash buff.
And they need to play it, and there's 4 in the list. So this is a very restrictive card, but it is 1 cost.
Yes, so that's the thing. It's one cost for -3/-3.
Yeah.
Like that's where you want to look at this. Like I like it. I think it's very interesting, but time will tell on how good this is going to be because of those restrictions.
Worst case scenario, you put it in the back row as a resource.
Yeah.
Worst case.
That's the worst case. Okay, I wish this was a trap, but I realize like if this was a trap, I think it'd be a lot better.
Oh,
I think, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. But I don't know. Like, what do you think? If this was a trap, do you think it'd be a lot better?
Well, would it be?
I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not, because then your opponent can't interact with it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Because, I mean, the traps and the quick actions are essentially the same thing, except your opponent won't know that you have this in hand.
Correct.
Or ready.
Right. Yeah. So that is Punishment. Then the next one that we have is Dark Deal. Dark Deal is a 2 cost, 1 required green resource for an uncommon basic action, which reads, if the portal's open, target Harbinger Clash card gets +2/+0 until end of turn. And then if the portal's closed, target Clash card gets -0/-2 until end of turn. What do you think about this one, Jim?
So Harbinger Clash card +2, portal's open. What is the card at the start of your turn open the portal? Is that in green or is that in red?
I can't remember.
I don't remember.
I think it was a Conquest card in white. I think it was a Conquest card in white. I can't remember. I cannot remember.
Regardless, I thought it might have been a Pestilence card.
It might be a Pestilence card. I can't remember.
All right. But yeah, this card, it makes it to where you're going to be able to do more damage on your turn. But since it's not a quick action, if the portal's closed on your opponent's turn, you can't utilize it as a form of removal on their turn.
You can use it as a form of removal on your turn.
Yes. Yeah, I was more so meaning at just on your opponent's turn, which obviously playing at instant speed is always better. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this card. It just seems like a very basic card, but versatile.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's exactly. I think that basic and versatile are 2 words that I would use to describe this card. I like it, the versatility, buffing your stuff or essentially removing your opponent's stuff.
Yep.
So, because again, if the portal's open, like you can only target Harbingers for you, right? But if it's your opponent, it doesn't matter. Right, because it's just a clash card. So, yeah, so that is Dark Deal. All right, the next 3 that we have come to us courtesy of Titan Cards. You can find them on YouTube at Titan Cards. The first one that we have is Enter from Beyond. Enter from Beyond is a 2-cost, 2 required black resources for an uncommon quick action. And it reads, you may discard 1 card to reduce the resource cost to play this card by 1 black resource. And then it reads counterattack. If the portal's open, put a clash card with an initial resource cost of 1 or less from any Oblivion into your clash zone. So 2 costs, you could discard a card to make this cost 1 black. And then you could put any card that costs 1 or less from any Oblivion into play. What do you think about this one?
I like this because I'm fairly certain the card you discard can be targeted, I believe.
What do you mean targeted?
So you may discard 1 card to reduce the resource cost. So if you say you pitch a 1-drop to reduce this down to 1 cost, you can then counterattack. If portal's open, put that card that's you pitched out onto the field.
I don't know.
Regardless, that could be good.
It could be. I don't know. You could do that, but to me, that's just not. I don't want to say it's not as good because it's already a card that I have in hand.
Yeah.
So I'd rather just pay the 1, potentially just pay the 1 extra because it's not like I'm saving anything. I don't know. But I don't know. To answer your question, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm also just looking at it all right, if I pitch the 1-drop Haven that draws me a card on Enter the Battlefield, I pitch, reduce the cost, pay...
Or that's already in the graveyard and I target it.
If there's already one in there, yeah,
right,
sure.
Right.
Or I'm saying if you don't have one.
Or I steal something from my opponents.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
There's going to be a lot of good 1-drops that you want to take. Right?
Yeah. Which is phenomenal.
But regardless, that's a good question.
Yeah. So it's you can utilize it to bring a card out to get a value of say +1 card to draw a card. Utilize that 1 card to then block them. Or what's it called? Obstruct their attack?
No, this is counterattack.
No. I'm saying the card that you bring out. Correct?
Right. No. I don't. I'd have to check where, because since this is counterattack.
Yes.
I think you might be able to, because I believe counterattack comes before obstruction.
Yes.
So
that's how you're going to block if they don't attack.
Right, but it could be obstruct comes before counterplay. I can't remember. I'd have to look at the chart again, but I believe it's counterplay does come before obstruction. Regardless, you got to follow it in order.
Right.
What I'm saying is, if counterplay is down here, is after you declare obstruction, then you can't do stuff out of order. That's what I'm saying. But I believe it is counter does come before obstruction.
Okay.
So I believe you do counter any counters before the obstruction step.
Okay.
I believe.
So at that point, I mean, this card can still be really good. I do like it.
Right. I believe so. So again, going off of that, I believe the counter step is before obstruction.
Yes.
So you do this, and then you find something that comes into play, and then you could use that to obstruct it with.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Again, I'd have to double check the chart and when the clash steps and all that stuff, which is important. It's important, right? Because it definitely matters, right?
Yes.
So since I believe that's the case, this card's a lot better.
Yes, 100%.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, that's Enter from Beyond. The next one, speaking of Pestilence cards and the artwork, right? It's Infectious Presence. All right. So this is 4 cost, 2 required green resources for a common relic accessory. And it reads, trigger enter, put 3 toxic counters on this card. And then says at the end of your turn, remove 1 toxic counter from this card. Then if this card has no toxic counters on it, send it to Oblivion. And then it says non-Harbinger Clash cards get -2, -0. What do you think about this one, Jim?
This card's kind of gorgeous. I do really like it. I don't know if there's any ways to put toxic counters back on it.
You'd have to find a card that basically says add or remove like any kind of counter.
Oh, right.
Right.
And so, but aside from that, we know that Pestilence also has 1 defense. So it's like every single one of these attacks now is now saving you 3 damage.
3 damage, yeah.
Which is huge.
Yeah. Right.
It's huge. I love the draining energy of your opponent cards that Pestilence is showing.
Absolutely.
This is 100% on flavor. I love it.
It is. It is. And it's just a common, too. So I like this card. Time will tell if we're going to see cards that we can just add counters to this. Because, again, like as it stands, this is going to sit on board for 3 turns unless it gets removed. Right. So, so that is Infectious Presence. And then the last card that we have from Titan Cards is Saw You Coming. Is 2 cost, 1 required white resources for a common trap accessory, which reads counterplay. Negate the trigger enter effects of target clash card entering play. Then you draw a card. Jim, what do you think about Saw You Coming?
I do love the effect of negate the trigger, because those can be very powerful.
Kagan, anybody?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then to be able to replace this card itself also, I mean, I really like this card. It's not very expensive either. 2 cost, trap. It's pretty on point. Sure, it doesn't get rid of it, but sometimes that negating the trigger is just very important.
Yep. Very, 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 very true. So I think Saw You Coming is... That's going to be a pretty powerful card in any white build. Okay. All right. The next one that we have is Advantageous Maneuver, spoiled to us by art director himself, Wade King. You can follow him on Instagram at Art of Wade King. And so Advantageous Maneuver is a 2 cost, 1 required green resources for a common quick action. It reads counterplay. Draw 1 card, then you may activate the portal. What do you think about this one?
So I forget what all the cards are that matter for the activating the portal.
The portal matters cards, right?
I was just saying, like, I forget how many different possibilities that you can have with this card as a quick action.
Granted, right now I think there's only like 3 or 4, maybe. There's not a ton. I mean, we've still got 2 weeks left to see what other cards that we're going to see in set 2, right?
But overall, even if you're just utilizing this as counterplay draw a card, so instant speed draw a card for 2 cost, I don't hate this, but then you're also going to be utilizing the activating the portal, or even force your opponent.
You're going to turn it off for your opponent.
Or even,
That's most likely where you'd want to utilize this. Is if your opponent is going to get a benefit from the portal, you turn it off with this card. Okay. So you turn it off and you draw a card and then you turn off the portal. You either open it or you close it, right? And your opponent is expecting it to be one or the other, right? You're paying the 2, which you're paying that 2 to activate the portal because it costs 2 anyway, right? And so now you're forcing your opponent, okay, opponent, now you were expecting it to be either off or on, or open or closed. So now the onus is on them to activate it or pay the 2 resources to activate it themselves.
Yeah, that's the part I really like about it. It's either they care that the portal's open and you're closing it,
right,
or you're opening it on their turn to then benefit you
yourself,
on your turn.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a lot of things you can do with this card, and it replaces.
There
is.
I like it. Right. Yeah, replace itself in hand. I think this is a pretty powerful card. I really do like this card. Okay, the next one that we have was spoiled to us by The Realm Games. You can follow them on Twitter at The Realm Games 1 on Twitter. And again, if you need any Alpha Clash singles, go check out their store. They'll be able to hook you up for sure. So Accumulation is a 3 cost, 2 required blue resources for a basic action, a common basic action. It reads, put 2 collection counters on target relic you control. That's it.
Oh, that's pretty nice.
I think you were talking earlier when we talked about Haven's Backpack about cards that were just able to do this effect.
Yep.
Here it is, Jim.
Yep.
There you go.
More cards to win the game faster.
So 3 costs for getting 2 collection counters on the backpack. What do you think about this? What do you think about that rate?
I mean, it's not amazing,
right,
but when the other way for you to get those counters is to be taking damage, and it's once per turn, I believe.
On your turn.
Yeah. Oh, and it's only on your turn as well?
Yeah, she's a 0/1.
Yeah.
So she's a 0/1. You got to take damage on your turn.
So this is essentially like you accelerate your turns by 2. So I love it.
Right. Yeah. So again, I love the artwork. Love the artwork on this from Sonderflex. Phenomenal. So that's Accumulation. All right. And then the next two that we have come to us courtesy of @RedZoneRogue. You can find him on Twitter and YouTube @RedZoneRogue. All right. The first one is Decimation. So this is the red Clash buff. It's 1 cost, 1 required red resources for a common Clash buff action, and it says you may only play this card if your contender is a red Harbinger, and it says target Clash card you control gets +3/+1 and breakthrough until end of turn. Oof. What do you think about this, Jim?
Dude, that's a lot of damage.
That is a lot of damage.
This is essentially a lightning bolt,
and it's until end of turn.
Yeah, this. Oh my goodness, dude. If you're able to ready up the card again, dude, this is a lot of damage.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yes. Yeah.
I love it.
Again, now it should be pointed out that you can only play this if your contender's a red Harbinger, and it only targets a Clash card.
Yes.
It's only a Clash card. But do we have a red?
Okay.
Do we have a red Harbinger? I don't think we have a red Harbinger contender
they haven't
yet.
Spoiled that yet?
Oh, and here it is. It's a War Legion Commander. So War Legion Commander is 30 health contender. He's a War. He's a Harbinger affiliation. He's a 1/0. His 30 HP ability reads, Clash cards you control get trigger attack. If this is the second attack you've declared this turn, draw a card. Yeah. And his second ability kicks in at 10 health, 10 or less health, reads, Clash tokens you control get +1/+0 and breakthrough. Jim, what do you think about this?
That's pretty good. So it definitely seems like you're going to want to be playing aggressive with him, or even like a more mid-range style.
Right.
And you're just going to be benefiting off of attacking.
Right.
I love it so much.
Yeah, and it's, Red Zone Rogue made this point in his video, and he was like, in a lot of aggressive decks, what's the one thing you tend to run out of? Cards. So like you run out of gas really quick, but War is going to be able to put cards back into your hand potentially. So it's again with Alpha Clash, it's taking these mechanics and archetypes that we already know and just like flipping it and turning it on its head. And I think that's 100% what I'm seeing with War Legion Commander specifically.
And when you're at the point of top decking, you still won't care because you're going to swing with War the contender. You're going to have your card, you're going to have your Clash card come out. It's now the second attack. You're going to then draw on top of it. Play the second card you drew on. Oh man, I like it.
Right.
To be able to attack with the contenders now triggering this ability, I love it.
The more and more contenders we see, it's just like we're going to see a lot more different archetypes in this game, and I am here for it. So, all right, the next one. The next one was spoiled to us by, again, Dagan White. Dagan has gotten the spice. You can follow him on Twitter @Kadachi1. This is Death the Endbringer. Beautiful piece of art. Death the Endbringer is a 6 cost, 4 required black resources for a 4/5 epic Harbinger Clash card. So it's a Death Bardagan Clash card, and it reads exclusive, so you can only have one on field at a time. And it reads, at the start of your turn, if the portal is open, you may put target Clash card with an initial resource cost of 3 or less from your Oblivion into your Clash zone. If that card is a Harbinger Clash card, it gets +2/+2 and Necrotic until end of turn. And then at the start of each opponent's turn, that opponent must send 1 Clash card they control to Oblivion. Again, Necrotic is like Death Touch if you're familiar with Magic. Jim, what do you think about Death the Endbringer here?
So Dan, picture it.
Okay.
I play this card in front of you.
I'm screwed. Yes.
On your turn, you now have to, at the start of your turn, get rid of a Clash card.
Yep.
And also, by the end of your turn, are you going to want to have the portal open?
No, I'm not. I'm not going to want to have the portal open.
So if you don't have a way, card ability-wise, to close the portal, what is it you have to do?
Got to pay 2 resources.
So now, if we're looking at, we both have 6 resources on our turns at that point. Now you're playing with 4 resources versus my 6?
Yeah, pretty much.
In terms of overall value? because then if he does leave it open, you just get to have a creature come
The game's
back.
pretty much over.
The
game's pretty much over.
If you don't have a way to get rid of this or close the portal, this thing is rough, man.
It is. Yes, fact check true. I have gotten destroyed by this card multiple times.
So much
by
value.
Dagan himself.
So much value. I love this card so much.
Yeah.
Wow. And the artwork, man.
Oh yeah.
The artwork is gorgeous.
The artwork is gorgeous. Absolutely. Yeah. So that is Death. Yeah, I love every single thing about this card.
Yep. The only bad thing is it's not a 5 cost, so you can't search it.
Yeah,
is this a bad card?
It's dude, this is it's a beautiful card.
Yeah.
It is a gorgeous card.
Yeah. Let's make more like this.
Yeah, let's see it. All right, the next one comes to us courtesy of Kugain Gaming. You can follow him on Twitter at Kugain Gaming. It is New Mexico Desert. New Mexico Desert, a 2-cost, 1 required blue resources for an uncommon New Mexico Earth Clashground. It reads, at the end of each player's turn, if that player did not declare an attack targeted at a contender, that player draws a card. What do you think about this, Jim?
Dude, I love this card.
Oh, yes, I do too.
You're going to be playing this in the Haven build. You're not looking to attack the contender at all because sure, it's a win con, but it's not going to be your win con.
And then just slow your opponent down because
exactly.
it's like, hey, you want to draw a card?
Exactly. If they're ever like, all right, I'm going to be able to draw a card here. But it's not worth it.
No, it's not. It's not. Dude, like when this card's out, I'm like, yeah, I want to draw. So,
and it does say targeted. So even if they attack it, but you block or you obstruct every single attack, right?
No. No. When you declare an attack, you're targeting.
Yeah, that's what I'm meaning.
So say it again.
So I was saying, like, if I attack your contender, or the target is now the contender is the target, but you obstruct every single attack I do, I still wouldn't be able to draw a card because that initial target was the contender. It's not like your contender has to actually take the damage or anything.
Right.
This card's great.
Well, so what are you saying about that? Like,
I'm saying even if if I attack your contender, right, and I'm not trying to draw a card, but you just block every single attack, I still won't be able to draw the card.
Right, but at that point, you've already made the decision to where you're not going to draw anyway. Yeah. So what does that have to do with it? That's why I'm confused.
I think you're reading too much into this right now. I'm not going that deep. I'm just saying if I would think, since my damage didn't go through to your contender, I'm not able to draw the card.
Right. So I mean, if you just read the card,
this is exactly what I'm saying. I'm just reading the card in a different way. So I'm saying, even if your opponent now blocks everything, and you're like, well, I didn't damage your contender. But this card's phenomenal.
Oh, so what you're saying is, hey, if your opponent misread the card,
yes. So
no, what I like about this card is it puts the onus on your opponent.
Yeah.
Okay, it puts the onus on them to say, hey, either you cannot target my contender and draw, or you don't, and you don't draw.
Attack the contender unless you know you're not going to make it through.
Right, but you not making it through doesn't. Again, that's just a moot point, right? Yes. It's just a moot point, right?
Yes.
It just puts it gives the opponent another question to answer for themselves. It disincentivizes them to attack. Mm-hmm. That's what it does.
Yes.
That's what it does. So that's what I like about the card. Mm-hmm. It's not, oh well, I didn't damage it, so I get to draw. No, that's not.
Yeah, I love that it specifically states declared the attack targeted, rather than just being like, has it dealt damage to anything?
Right. Yeah. Right. Because again, it makes them make that choice, and that's what I like about it. That's what I like about the card, because again, it specifically wants to slow them down. Say, hey, you can stop, and then you get this benefit, or you just don't get the benefit.
Yeah.
Right. So that,
I can't wait to play it.
And that's what I like about that card.
Yeah.
So, all right, the next one is Staunch Defense. This was spoiled to us by, again, Chris Jones. Follow him on Instagram at Chris Jones, super artist. So, Staunch Defense is a 4-cost, 2 required white resources for a rare trap accessory. It says counterplay. You may only activate this trap if the portal is open. So a trap that cares about the portal being open. And it says choose one. Your contender gains 5 health. Target clash card gets +3/+3 until end of turn. Or target clash card you control with an initial resource cost of 2 or less can't be dealt damage this turn. What do you think about this?
This is a very big trap with a lot of stuff on it.
It is, yes.
The 5 health most likely won't matter. Most likely.
I wouldn't say most likely. I've been in a lot of games where like I just need to be if I'm alive for this turn, I win.
True.
So it's the one option that's most likely not going to matter. It's not that it won't, but it's the one that's most likely not going to matter out of these 3 options.
I don't know how I feel about this card. It's just so different. It seems like to me.
It is. It's a high cost.
Yeah.
That's what I don't like.
Throwing me off.
Right. But it's you've got, and again you've got that condition. You can only do this if the portal's open, right? Yeah. So again, you are at the mercy of it being open on your opponent's turn. Okay.
Yeah.
Of these 3, I like target clash card you control with the resource cost 2 or less can't be dealt damage. Like that I like. But again, it has to be initial resource cost of 2 or less. So that's, I don't know. It's
I really don't know what to say about this card, dude.
This is one of those where it's like time will tell.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna have to just wait and see how this plays out.
I do love the idea of just really large traps. That sounds weird. Yeah, just like big cost trap, because eventually it could just be like a nuke.
A nuke?
Yeah, they're like, you set off my trap, it's a nuke, pop the board.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'd like that.
Like so, and I love the artwork on this. But yeah, again, this is one where we're just gonna have to wait and see. We're gonna have to wait and see how this one how this one works out. The next one was again spoiled by the Realm Games. Follow them on Twitter at the Realm Games 1. It is Scorched Earth. 3 costs, 2 required red resources for a rare New York Earth Clashground. It reads, if a source you control would deal non-clash damage to a contender or clash card you don't control, it deals that much damage +1 instead. What do you think about this?
Dude, I love this card.
Yes.
Sign me up.
Yes.
All day.
What I love about this is it is a clash ground where you are the only one who gets the benefit. Because it specifically states it's a source you control would deal non-clash damage to a contender or clash card you do not control. Then you get the effect.
Yeah. Sign me up for that.
Yeah. I love everything about this card, including the artwork.
Things I already want to do, make it better.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, so we're gonna come back to these ones here in a second. This next one was spoiled again by art director Wade King. It's Flare Final Effort. Follow him on Instagram at Art of Wade King. Flare Final Effort, a 2 cost, 1 required red resources for a common Flare Earth Alpha Clash card. It reads it's a 1/2, and it reads trigger victory. Deal 1 damage to target contender clash card. What do you think about this?
Okay. Deal 1. So
you got to do something to this to get that trigger victory.
Yeah, I'm like, get rid of a 1/1 to then deal something to another card. I mean, early game, I like seeing this.
Yeah.
This is going to be great.
Yeah.
Especially if you know your opponent loves playing the 1/1.
Yeah.
The 1/1 little creatures.
It's a very small body with that trigger victory.
Yeah.
So you're gonna need something else to really get that trigger victory off.
And I think it makes a lot of sense, or thematically wise, this card is beautiful. The final effort, she's like, I'm super weak right now. I need to be able to kill something small to do something.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Again,
like
love the artwork, but again,
Yeah.
this needs something. This needs support. You need to do something to this to get that trigger victory off. So, all right, the last ones we're going to go over are the remainder of the Clash kit. So this was spoiled by TCG Talk. You can find them on YouTube at TCG Talk YT and on Twitter at TCG_Talk on Twitter. Okay, so we're gonna run through these. We're gonna talk about the the contenders for the Clash kit. Okay, talk about those first, and then we'll go over the remainder of the cards that are in the Clash kit that haven't been spoiled yet. Okay, so the first contender is a Mean Streak. It is Mean Streak boosted. So Mean Streak boosted, another blue contender. He has 25 health. He's a 1/0 Mean Streak Earth alpha card. Okay, so his first ability at 25 health says Clash cards you control with no streak counters get trigger attack. Put 1 streak counter on this card. So again, Mean Streak cares about those streak counters on his first contender, and obviously on this one as well. And then it also reads, once per turn during your primary phase, you may engage this card and remove 2 streak counters from among Clash cards you control. If you do, draw a card. And then his second ability kicks in at 15 or less health. It says Clash cards your opponents control get -1/-0. So Jim, what do you think about Mean Streak boosted?
I love this card. To be able to weaken your opponent's things at, honestly, 15 life really isn't that low to then start getting a lot more defensive capabilities because again, you're weakening your opponent. And then this also reminds me of the War, because on the attack, put a streak counter on it, and once you have like those 2 extra attacks, you can then get rid of them to draw a card. So where the War is on your second attack. Yeah, go ahead and be able to do that. I do really like this card.
Yeah, so again, as long as you're getting those streak counters out, what I like about that first ability where it says once per turn during your primary phase, you may engage this card and remove 2 streak counters from among Clash cards you control. So it doesn't have to be the same card. You can like remove 1 from one card and 1 from another card. So that's beautiful. I like that. So that's a Mean Streak boosted. The next one is Machina, Savage Striker. Machina, again, another 25 health contender. He's a red contender. He's a 1/0 alpha affiliation. His first ability, 25 health, it says once per turn during your primary phase, you may engage this card and send a non-trap accessory you control to Oblivion. If you do, deal 2 damage to target contender or Clash card, then draw a card. And then a second ability at 15 or less health says whenever an accessory you control is sent to Oblivion from play, target Clash card you control gets +1/+1 until end of turn. So remember we were talking about Shrapnel?
Yep.
Wow, what do you think about this, Jim?
So you can cast the Shrapnel, get rid of it with this after pinging something. So Shrapnel, deal 1 damage. Do this, deal 2 damage, draw a card, Shrapnel, trigger, deal a point of damage. So 4 damage, and that was 2 cost.
And all you're doing is
draw a card.
You're engaging Machina. Oh, wow.
Okay.
I know which contender Jim's gonna play in this Clash kit.
If you're utilizing what was the Scorched Earth on top of it?
Oh no!
Was it 7?
7 damage? No! Is that in the Clash kit? No, it's not. Thank goodness.
Missed opportunity. No, I understand.
That would be insane.
Dude, that would have been sick.
Wow.
And mind you, this isn't all just to 1 card, right? You can spread it out however you want. You'd be like 1 damage here, kill your token, 2 damage here, kill your 2/2, and then Shrapnel trigger.
Well, you can divvy it out with the different triggers.
Yes.
Not like I have 5 total damage. I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, you have 3 instances.
Right. You of each of those different triggers.
Yes.
Like you're getting 2 from Machina. You're getting 1 from the Shrapnel.
1 from the Shrapnel again.
Right.
Yeah. This is beautiful. I can't wait to do that
man.
synergy. And then what was maybe there's a card to get back a non-trap accessory. I don't know. Who knows?
Hey, Bountiful Collector. That's what it is. Haven Bountiful Collector.
Oh, right.
Oh, wow. Oh, goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So with the contenders now that we've seen the contenders from the Clash kit, let's look at the cards from the Clash kit that we have yet to see. Okay. The first one is Machina Heavy Brawler. It's a 5-cost, 2 required red resources for a 3/5 Machina Earth Alpha Clash card. So 3/5 for 5 with trigger attack. Put target non-trap accessory with initial resource cost of 2 or less from your Oblivion into your accessory zone. Okay, I'm gonna get the Shrapnel.
Dude, trigger attack.
Holy, dude,
so good.
Can you just, dude, that Shrapnel. Oh my, this is so cool, man.
I love him so much.
This is seriously, like, this is just so cool.
And then I'm going to play what was the one in the first set? Was he a 7-drop? What was he?
Oh, yeah, he's a 7-drop.
And then I'm just going to be like, do a bunch of damage everywhere. Scorched Earth, going to annihilate your board. Dan's going to be like, I need to play defensive. I'm like, no.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I just can't wait to see more of this.
This is so cool. All right, so let's look at the next one. What's the next one? So the next one is a Mean Streak card. It's a Mean Streak Quick Reflexes.
Dang.
4 cost, 2 required blue resources for a 4/4 Alpha Clash card. Trigger Victory. If this card has 3 or more streak counters on it, ready this card. If not, put 1 streak counter on this card. The effect triggers only once per turn. Oh man, dang it only triggers once per turn. Trigger Defeat. Put 2 streak counters on target Clash card you control. So you're going to be getting a lot of streak counters off of this card. Jim, what do you think about this one?
This card's kind of cool. Also, the artwork, I don't think I've ever seen Mean Streak this ginormous before. Yeah. Look at those shoulders. Those are cannonballs. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, being able to ready stuff is always great.
Oh, yeah.
I love this card.
So you can either do another attack or just ready for your opponent's turn.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah, so
we're gonna attack.
Probably. All right, so that's Mean Streak Quick Reflexes. The next one is Streaks Go Help. 2 costs, 2 required blue resources for a starter trap accessory, which says counterattack. Put 1 streak counter on target Clash card you control. Then choose 1. That card gets interception until end of turn, or that card gets super speed until end of turn.
Wow.
Ooh. What do you think about this, Jim?
I really like this card. The versatility is great. So if you ever need to stop a flying or then have the super speed on top of it, man, that's
not on top.
Or sorry, yeah. I mean on top of the card itself, not like you're giving it to the one thing.
Sure.
Yeah, that versatility is just amazing, and this card is really nice. I love it.
Yeah, so I mean, the first thing is you get a streak counter, right? But like that again, that's the side benefit, right? Yeah. You get the streak counter, but then you either get interception or super speed. Like those are both great effects.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is Streaks Go Help. The next card, I love this artwork in this. It's Heavy Metal. 2 costs, 1 required red resources for a starter weapon accessory with an attached cost of 1 red resource. And it says whenever the attached Clash card attacks, you may engage this card. If you do, reveal the top card of your deck. If that card is an accessory, put into your hand. If it's not, deal a damage to target contender you don't control. What do you think about this, Jim?
Well, it is 2 cost non-trap accessory, so if you ever need to get this back, you easily can.
Yep.
It's not very expensive, and aside from maybe you get to get another card into your hand, maybe it's a Shrapnel, who knows what it's going to be.
Dude, the more cards that we see, we're like, when we first saw the Shrapnel, I'm like, all right, that's kind of cool. It just, you're going to need a bunch of stuff with it. We found all the stuff.
We got it. Yeah, this card is really cool. I love everything else to be able to utilize with this card, and then just to be able to deal another damage on the attack trigger, essentially. This card's phenomenal.
Yep, so that's Heavy Metal. I got 2 more. We're going to skip that first one, and we're going to come back to that as the last one. The next one we're going to talk about is Mean Streak the Unstoppable. So Mean Streak the Unstoppable, 3 costs, 1 required blue resources for a starter 3/4 Alpha Clash card. So 3/4 for 3. And it says trigger enter. Put a streak counter on target clash card you control. And then if this card has 2 or more streak counters on it, it gets +1/+1 and breakthrough. So we're getting a lot more mean streak counter cards. What do you think about this one?
It seems like he's about to break his arm.
Which arm?
The left arm.
The left arm.
It doesn't bend like that, man. It don't. Okay. It threw me off first time I saw it. All right, now let's actually look at this as a card.
Yeah.
ETB streak counter. All right, that's good. You want to have those. Then if this card has 2 of them, whoo, wow. I love that. Be able to get breakthrough, and now it's a 4/3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that can be a lot of damage coming in.
Yeah, so a 3/4 for 3 with upside is really good. Really, really good.
Yeah, I like this.
So that is Mean Streak the Unstoppable. All right,
I see why he gets breakthrough, because he's about to break his arm on the artwork.
All right, the last one that we have is The Last Stand. So this is the AXO card. So this is essentially the chase card of the Clash kits. I believe it's 1 in 10. You get a different foil treatment for the Clash kit. So The Last Stand. It is a 3-cost, no required resources.
Wow.
So you could play this in any deck.
This is colorless, essentially.
This is essentially colorless. Well, but if you put it as a resource, it'll tap for white, right? Yeah, I did not realize that. Okay,
wow.
That's nice.
Cool.
That is very nice. All right. For a New York Earth Clashground, okay? It reads Alpha Hunter and Rogue Clash cards get +0/+1. And then it says Rogue Clash cards you control get trigger Obstruct. Ready this Clash card after this Clash. This effect triggers only once per turn. And then it says you may only play this card if you control at least 1 Alpha Hunter or Rogue Clash card. So again, giving you that defensive versatility. Yeah. Because we've seen this type of effect on other cards about readying them. Yeah. Right. But this is on trigger Obstruct, so you can get another obstruction out of that card.
I like this card.
I love this card. Yeah.
I really like this card.
Right, but again, it's only for rogues. So, I mean, there's a lot of rogues, but again, like you're playing this if you're playing rogues.
Yeah.
Right. And so you're hoping your opponent's not, but you don't don't care.
Well, it says
much.
rogue cards you control get this, so your opponent doesn't even get that.
No, you're right. You're right.
That's good.
They just get that buff, that +0/+1.
Yeah. I love this.
Okay, I love this.
I'm fine with that. Have a bigger body.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna be able to double block if I need to.
Yeah. And again, you're playing this in the late game most likely. Oh yeah. Right? Yeah. You're dropping it as a resource early to get that white resource. Yeah. And then, okay, I'm about ready to lose. All right, let me throw Last Stand out.
Yeah.
Ooh, man, I like this card.
Yeah. Yeah, this is sick. Even if you play this in like the mid game to where you have a decent body out there, this is still phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a really, really good card. I like this. I like this for that AXO promo.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah, so this is The Last Stand. All right, so the last thing I want to mention is I just saw this before we started recording this, but if you head over to Patrick Brown's Instagram, let me see if I can find it real quick because I did pull it up. And of course, oh wait, did they just? I'm sorry. Yep, it's at Patrick Brown Art. Spoiled the alpha rares. So it's Clarity, Harbinger of Death, and War, the Second Horseman, battling it out in front of the portal. And it is some gorgeous. It is some phenomenal artwork. So I believe those are the only 2 alpha rares for the set. Dude, I got to get my hands on those. They are so good. They are beautiful. Yeah. So again, head over to Instagram at Patrick Brown Art to check out that post with the artwork. I'm going to try to get a hold of those cards. That way I can show them on screen for you guys as well. So, all right, that's it. That's the recap for week number 3. Again, reminding you, Clashgrounds launch date is November 10th with a pre-release date of November 3rd. If you want to pre-order, you can head over to Team Covenant's website to pre-order what you're looking for, boxes, cases. And again, don't forget, check out the Realm games as well to pick up your singles and any other cards that you're looking for Alpha Clash as well. Again, all right, so thanks everybody for hanging out with us today to check out this recap for week number 3. We got, believe, about 2 weeks left. So again, if you like this type of content and you like Alpha Clash, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those bell notifications so you can be notified when we release more Alpha Clash content in the future. Jim, I mean, is it Death, the Endbringer? Is that the one for you? Or now after going over all those Machina ones?
Oh my goodness, I love Machina so much. I call him Machina. It's like the exact same thing. Yeah, I love him so much.
Dude, that Shrapnel, it looks so good now, isn't it? It looks
Dude,
so
I loved
cool.
playing the one from the first set. He's one of my favorite cards in the whole set. To just be able to control my opponent, I love it too much, man. I love it too much.
Yep.
It's great.
Yeah. Oh, it's so that interaction is just so cool.
Dan's like, I really don't want him to play this.
I want to play it. Like, I want to play it, right? Yeah, so and I love Death. There's so many awesome cards coming in Clashground set number 2. I can't wait to see what more cards that we're going to see this week and the following week. So again, stay tuned to the channel to give you those weekly recaps. And again, head over to Twitter to follow Alpha Clash TCG to check out those spoilers as they come in as well. So again, thanks everybody for hanging out with us today, and we'll catch you in the next Alpha Clash videos. Everybody,
take care.